So you're probably wondering, Mr. Meister, why did you have me take a look at all those movie terms? It really has nothing to do with this class or even PowerPoints. Well, what I'm hoping is that you're looking at this video a good chunk of time after you looked at it. Matter of fact, even if it's 24 hours or 36 hours after you saw the first one, I have a quick little quiz for you. And the quiz would be, if you recall, it was 3 slides long. Let's talk through what each of those slides were. Could you remember maybe what each of those 3 slides were? Now, if I stood in front of the class and talked in a lecture format and all you saw was just me talking to you like I am right now, it probably would be harder. The further away we get from that class, it would be harder to remember, yeah, he talked about a bunch of movie stuff. I don't know that I remember everything. But I'm hoping that because of the PowerPoint with the visuals that you had there, you can remember, oh yeah, he talked about Dutch angles. And Dutch angles are not because of the Dutch people, it's because of something else. And he talked about different kinds of Easter eggs. And you could think of the 2 examples, and maybe those C-3PO or Raiders of the Lost Ark or the Pixar pictures I use help trigger and be like, oh yeah, Easter eggs. You talked about Easter eggs. And then finally, the camera movements, you might not necessarily remember that if I was just talking like this, but when you think of the visuals I used, the pictures that I picked, you may recall I used a semi-truck, all right, to demonstrate trucking, all right, trucking left and trucking right, all right, and then we had another term in there which was called dollying, and again, think of the visual for that, and maybe you're like, I can't remember. That's okay, I don't expect you to remember all of them, but some of you probably remember, oh yeah, he had a picture of Dolly Parton in there, she was a musician. It has nothing to do with music, but hopefully that visual helps trigger and makes you remember the word dollying, dolling up, dolling down. And you may recall for up, I had a helicopter, and for dolling down, I had a submarine. Again, very intentional pictures to help you remember. And that's exactly what I want you to do in your PowerPoints. When you are picking a picture is worth 1,000 words. So pick a picture that's going to really help your audience remember the point that you're trying to make. But also be careful, because if you pick a picture that's a little bit distracting or doesn't fit exactly with what you're saying, you're going to confuse your audience. And then when they're later trying to trace back and think, yeah, what was he talking about? They might not necessarily remember what you want. So be very careful about the pictures that you pick to help your audience remember the points that you're trying to make. And hopefully long after you've watched that 3 little movie trivia slides, you're going to remember the Dutch angle, you'll remember Easter eggs, and hopefully you'll remember different kinds of camera movements. And if you forget, that's okay too, because that's not what today's class is about. What I want you to walk away with is pick pictures that help tell your story. Good luck.